Hello, and welcome to episode 137 of Nintendo Therapy, a show about the latest Nintendo news and rumors, as well as a celebration of all the things Nintendo. My name is Kevin, and joining me this week in Edenland, bet you guys didn't know that was the name of the place in Adventures of Lolo, is Sean,
Can we crash the internets with this episode, hopefully?
maybe, and Harrison.
I read the same wiki page, so I think I did know that. I did a little research, and it was a game that I quite enjoyed, but we're not there quite yet. So we have
Yeah,
to we have to we
so
have to circle back to it.
in the meantime, the thing I wanted to talk about this week is I can't shake the feeling after having played both games back to back. I wanted to bring up that I'm not that we have to compare everything in life, but I'm firmly in the camp that, in my opinion, for me, Kirby and the Forgotten Land was a better game than Donkey Kong Bonanza was. I'm at 97%. I just need to finish that Coliseum and I'm done. I'm 100. And I haven't done any of the Switch 2 content yet. That's next. But the original Switch game, really, really good. And I just wanted to bring up a few reasons that I think is the key difference of why I enjoyed Kirby more than Donkey Kong. And first one is we already brought up on this podcast in Donkey Kong Bonanza, uh, they make it ridiculously difficult to complete the skill tree because you can complete the base skill tree fine, but they add a bunch of ones in at the end where you would basically need to get 1,000 bananas in order to do it. And there's only 700 in the game. So you're grinding out coins to just buy them. Um, so Kirby has an interesting way around this, though. There's nothing you really have to buy in the game, but they have a perfect way to grind out money in the game, which is this little fishing mini game. And the fishing mini game is fun. And I don't know if it's a coincidence or great game design, but it's also the fastest way to grind money is to play the fishing game. So I really think if they were going to make it that hard to fill the skill tree in Bonanza, they should have had something in there that made it really easy to get banana coins, even if they held it out to the end of the game and like you couldn't get to it till the end. So there was that jumped into mind. And then also, obviously, Kirby transforms. It's
Yep.
a character that we know has transformations. I feel like the transformations there were it's a fact that there were way more of them in Kirby than Donkey Kong Bonanza. But I feel like also in Bonanza you were only using them in very specific instances, whereas just something about the design in Kirby and the Forgotten Land, it lent itself to experimentation and like I'm gonna try and see what this transformation does here. And I don't know. I thought it was another key point where I was able to compare the 2 games in my mind, and I'm just there's a I don't know, there's a we don't have to get too deep into it, but that's the thing I was thinking today, or all week long rather, during my Nintendo playing. So, I am team Kirby in the unnecessary comparison of the 2 games.
So I I might be with you because I finished Bonanza's story.
Okay.
Uh, I enjoyed it. I definitely want to just go back and play the
Yeah.
levels. Uh Harrison, do you already know the big reveal on the game
I
Yeah, we should
Bonanza?
say even for the listeners, you could be spoiling something here, but
I
you
I
could just say the big reveal. You don't have to say what it is.
So
yeah,
the big
I think I
reveal.
do. I keep going. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I knew about that before I got the game,
Yeah.
and knowing that took away from the enjoyment of the game a little.
I
Because
think for
by
me
the
it
time
worked
I get to the
because I didn't even know there was going to be a reveal. So it's
yeah,
not even like I was looking for what it could be the whole time, you know what I mean?
yeah, so I almost begrudgingly finished the story just so I could go back to the part of the game I enjoyed of just exploring the levels and stuff.
Mhm,
So, I enjoyed it. It's not the best Donkey Kong game. I don't think it's game of the year. I agree with
mhm.
you, Kirby's probably a better game overall.
Yep.
Uh, I think my only real irritants, although, you know what? The gold thing, there's that point in the game where you have to have 1,000,000 gold, like, towards
You
the
do?
end. That annoyed me.
I don't know. I think it's 150,000 or so. I don't think it's a million, but Yeah,
It was
it is something
something
you have
way
to farm
higher.
for. Yeah.
Yeah, so that and when it comes in the game, I'm like, "Really? Oh, I know what's" but I think my only real issue with it, because I agree the Bonanza transformations, like, I mostly use the gorilla one, and then the
Mhm.
other ones were only when, like, "You absolutely have to use the zebra right now."
I
Okay.
it's funny you said the zebra. I was gonna say, I feel like that one comes up a decent amount, but, the ostrich, I pretty much only used in the ostrich stage, and, like, the what else
Yeah, you
was
had
there?
the snake.
The snake I hated. Like, I don't know if I was just bad at controlling it or what, but, um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like the snake does come up a decent amount. It's really just that ostrich that they barely ever make you use.
And then the elephant, I kinda
Mhm.
spammed at the end for the boss
Oh, the
fights, but
elephant too, yeah.
the boss fights were my main issue with the game. So there's
Mhm,
17 levels. Almost every single level has a boss fight at the end.
mhm.
And I'm, like, thinking back to Odyssey, and I'm like, every single world didn't have a boss fight. And I
What was your
started
favorite level?
my favorite
Just out of
level,
curiosity, because
you'll
I
be so
definitely have
happy.
one.
I
Hmm?
I think the snow level was my favorite level for the first
Oh,
time ever.
okay. I did like the snow one, but my favorite level was, like, the junkyard one, and I think that's just because the smashing and digging mechanic is so fun, and that's really the only one that fully relied on you just doing that. Like, you had to smash to get everywhere, and everything was like a hidden pocket within the digging. So, that was my favorite one.
So, yeah, there was too many boss fights. Like, I get fighting the Void Kongs, but, like, I don't know, they didn't need to have a boss fight at the end of almost every single level. I think the most disappointing level for me, and I apologize if this is spoiling any of the game, but the Ramby races is just a layer. I thought it was gonna be something like a side,
Oh,
like a secret room or something, and you're
yeah,
gonna be in a
and you
race.
literally only have to do the race twice.
And
Once
I was
you
like,
to finish the game, you only have to do it once, twice if you're being a
"Right."
completionist.
So I'm like, "Well, I guess maybe I'll go back to that layer," but I was really bummed, but that's all that was, and I'm like, "I thought this was gonna be, like, a big part of the game, not, oh,
Mhm.
here it is, you're done.'
Yeah,
Oh,
especially
great."
because you see Ramby on the first stage, so you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'll unlock him and come back to this later or something," and that's not at all what it is.
But, I mean, overall, I enjoyed it. I think it's the perfect spotlight game in terms of showing off what the Switch 2 can do.
Mhm.
Because I don't think I ever had slowdown. I know a lot of people talked about that, but I don't think I
I
ran into it.
I definitely did during the bosses where there's, like, 100 of those little tiny enemies that'll be on the screen, but other than that, I didn't.
All those annoying little squid things.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. That slowed my
Yeah.
Switch down.
So I I will say this, Harrison. If you're looking to play it, it's fun, but see if you can get it on a discount somehow.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't know if it's a $70 game in my eyes, but
Yeah,
as a
Yeah.
Donkey Kong fan, I enjoyed it, but I'm not gonna tell you it's the best Donkey Kong game ever made because it's not.
I
yeah,
really
we
just wanted to shout out the Kirby fishing game. Great way to
right,
make it so that you can grind coins. Thank
right,
you,
and
whoever thought of that.
that goes right along with the fishing mini game theory that all good games have it.
Yep.
We can circle back to that, but yeah, I mean, listening to you guys talk about this and just seeing what it's been like the first 2 months, or it's been more than that now, I guess. Um,
Mhm.
that yeah, we get wrapped up in hyperbole and speculation a lot here because it's fun. Um, I really think September has gotta be a big month and could be a big month for Nintendo for announcements
Well,
because if this
yeah.
is if this is what it is, this is a very weird first year for the Switch 2.
Oh, yeah.
If there's something
Absolutely.
if there's something else, that changes everything. Because I think even, the reception with Bonanza, like, even though it was a really good game, the install base is very small right now, and it's still a Donkey Kong game at the end of the day. So even if you put out an Odyssey level game, it's still gonna have a certain reception to it. Especially even though like the Switch 2 has sold so well, it's still a lot smaller than the Switch 1 in comparison by now. Um,
Well, if the clickbait articles are to be believed, which they never are, because they say this about every direct, but
Oh
they
yeah.
are rumoring that the next September direct is going to be full of big reveals. So, and
which
I
usually,
also saw
yeah,
something, yeah,
which
talking
usually
about
is.
how next year is going to have multiple Zelda releases, not necessarily new games, but multiple Zelda releases.
Hopefully, it's not Zelda Racing because they're already, we get Kirby and Sonic, and I think there's another one. They're really stacking racing games on this thing.
I'm gonna say this, if they and I know it's on the GameCube service, but if they don't put out Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD during the 40th anniversary year, it's 100% never coming. In my opinion.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, not so
Should have
sure
bought that Wii U.
about that one, but yeah, I like one announcement could change everything, and I guess even by December, that's only 6 months into the actual, like, full year of this system, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think I keep saying it, I think we're gonna look back on this on the legacy of the system and be like, "It was a good system, it was just very strange initially," which happens with Nintendo quite a bit. Like, pretty much every other console is like that. So, um yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what we get this month. I'm like 98% sure we get a direct because it's September. We always do.
Yeah.
It's heading
I
into the
can't
holiday
see them
season. Uh,
not
yeah,
doing it, with how many games they've already announced. There's got to be either, hey, here's a spotlight on this game we announced, and here's more details, or here's a bunch of stuff we haven't said anything about yet. So I don't
right,
see them not doing anything.
right. I mean, I guess they could just out of nowhere release a trailer for the Age of Imprisonment game and then give us a release date. They do that sometimes, but yeah, it seems like there's even games that we know about that we don't know enough about that are coming either end of this year or beginning of next
That's right.
year. So yeah, we're getting
Yeah.
one for sure. Pokemon comes out next month. Can't believe that. Gonna be waiting for that. Um, Especially since I don't know what my Switch 2 situation will be, and you know, who knows?
Ukulele HD remake comes out next month, or it's this
Ukulele,
month now. I think it might be next
replayed?
week, actually. Replay, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah,
It's
they remade
They
it.
pretty much, like,
Yuka
surprised
re re
announced, that it's like they're like, "Okay, and it's out next week." Like,
Ukulele Replayly, isn't that what it's called? It's called, like,
I
Replayly or
think it's
something?
Replay-E?
Replay E, and I believe it's entirely on the cart, but don't
Yes.
Is
okay, it is. So that's cool because yes, I did see that on Amazon before Madden released, the top 10 Switch games were games that were all on a
Oh,
physical cart.
I was wrong, it's October 9th. October it comes out, but that's still, like, they kinda just,
that's
surprised
cool.
announced, "Hey, it's coming out next month."
Mm, yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
yeah, that's super cool. So maybe there's something else going on with that.
They had to
Cool.
space it I feel like they had to space it a little bit away from DK because they're a kinda related genre, so
I,
I
I'm
I I
I'm
think
pretty sure
it's
her.
more space in it from the release that came out this week, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are gonna buy who would buy one would buy both. Uh,
Mhm.
Pretty sure if you're
And
fans of that.
if anyone out there is not buying it because they've seen the negative reviews for the original, I'm just gonna throw my 2 cents out there. I completely disagree with the negative reviews. I didn't have any problems with the controls. I know that's something they slam a lot in the reviews. I never had an issue with the controls. Yeah, the originals, a criticism I'll agree with is they said like the levels feel kind of empty in the original, but I think that's kind of the whole point in this remake is they're addressing that. So that shouldn't be the case anymore. And yeah, I really liked this game. So it's got my support. If that means if this is like the old days of like a video rental store and each person has their picks, I would put Yuka Replay Lee in my picks for the week.
Should we talk about?
So
Go ahead.
what's up?
I,
I
I
was just
think.
gonna move into the news. So Forsaken 64 is a
Oh
news item
yeah.
from this week. It's on Nintendo Classics now. It was in the future when I wrote this, but it's there now. So Forsaken 64 is there, and a reason this is kind of interesting is Forsaken 64 was part of a box art leak where Nintendo, I guess, didn't realize, and I've looked at the screenshots, and this is true. Um, they were demonstrating the new filter options for the Nintendo 64 service, and in the background, you could see that whoever had their menu open had in their library Donkey Kong 64, Smash Brothers 64, and Glover that are all not on the service yet. And another game that was in that list was Forsaken 64. So the fact that this has come now is leading some to believe that the leak is legitimate, and those are all planned games. Obviously, we still don't have a specific date that any of them are coming. And I'd just like to remind people that we've also had data miners leak the fact that you could link games in the service, and that hasn't happened yet. And that was leaked like a year ago. So who knows? Donkey Kong 64, Smash Brothers 64, Glover, someday maybe.
I I think
Yeah,
so.
Forsaken 64 was one of those games that I remember seeing like ads in magazines for,
Mhm.
but I didn't know what it was until they had the trailer. And I went, "Oh, it's a shooter."
Yeah.
I had no
I
idea.
played it when I did a thing where I wanted to play every Nintendo 64 game, and that was the last time I played it. Was I probably played it for like 15 minutes during that marathon. But uh yeah,
Do you
it's
remember if it's fun or
I remember not liking, the fact that it felt like you were playing a drone game, which it's not supposed to be a drone, you're supposed to be in, like, ships. So that was kind of something I didn't like about it was I was like, "I don't feel like I'm flying a spaceship through this, I feel like I'm flying a drone." And I can't explain it, I just that just kinda, like, didn't didn't mesh well with me. But I would be happy to give it a second chance now that I have that expectation going in.
Yeah. S other other Acclaim games that could come to the service. How about, like, Shadow Man? I was thinking about that.
it's on there?
Wait, it's on
That's a
there?
game I've tried to play.
It's
Yeah, it's
on
on
there,
there.
yeah.
Yep.
It's on there? Oh, okay, because I was thinking of other Acclaim games that could potentially come to the service.
There's
We haven't.
We only
quite
have
a
the first
few.
Turok, right? We don't have Turok
Nope.
2 or 3?
Turok Turok 1 and 2.
Man, I gotta bring up the list. I
Like I
let
say,
me because I
Turok
have our master
Yeah,
spreadsheet of
I guess I
everything
haven't
that's
been
on
on.
Switch Online.
I can't remember all the games in the service, I guess, then, and
Alright, so
Turok
yeah.
1 and 2, Forsaken, Shadow Man, Iggy's Wrecking Balls.
yeah,
I don't know
Mhm.
if there's another one because
yeah,
Glover got a remake.
So we
and
need Turok 3 on there, yep, I'm looking at it now.
yeah, man, uh, Acclaim has so many
Man, when are
games.
we gonna pick Win back for the Spotlight game?
Yeah,
Sorry.
Never.
they have so many games that could never come to the service because obviously, like, they had, like, all of, like, the sports games and,
The
um,
Star Wars
all
games are
these.
something I would love. There were 4 Star Wars games on Nintendo 64, and in my opinion, they are all worth playing, but obviously, we're not gonna get Star Wars games.
If we could only get one, though, I'd love Shadows of the Empire just because
Yeah.
I haven't played it in 100 years. It's
If
maybe it
if
doesn't hold up,
if,
but
um If they said, "No, you're getting Rogue Squadron instead," I wouldn't be mad, but those 2.
Rogue Squadron. Yep, that was
Mm,
fun. Pod Racer. Don't
They
really
would give
need
us
that.
Battle for Naboo, though, is what they would do.
yeah,
No, I think it's interesting that Acclaim has a pretty big chunk of their games on the service right now,
yeah.
Mhm.
which is cool because they don't exist anymore.
Well, did you hear? They were bought. Of course, they went defunct in 2004. The history of Acclaim is crazy. Like they basically like they were all the way at the top, and they just went straight down. Um, I mean, they were top of the world late 90s, early 2000s. 2004, they're done. But they
Yep.
were, I guess, they were bought and they're coming back as an indie company. So Acclaim is back, but
Interesting.
everyone involved with Acclaim wasn't involved with it originally. And they're actually having a presentation on September 10th, which is just 4 days from now. I thought it was a funny coincidence that they added Forsaken 1 week before the presentation because they're basically going to show off the games they're gonna be developing. I don't know if it's any connection to anything they've worked on in the past because, again, like, the reason why they lost all their money and they didn't pay off a lot of royalties, so they end up losing a lot of their
Mhm.
IPs because of that, and
That'll do it.
then they just went
I think
bankrupt.
it's a coincidence, and I can't back this up with a specific source, so I could be wrong, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I think I remember reading, that some developers said that for the Nintendo Switch Online service, um, non-Nintendo games, they don't have a say on when they get added to the service. They just approve it and, like, get the rights all squared away, and then Nintendo has all the decision making on when they add it. So,
Right.
I feel like I remember reading that, but I could be wrong.
It was just a
So
fun. Yeah.
here's a game I want them to add if they're gonna get Acclaim crazy. I never got to play Armorines,
I
so
have that. Could just come over my house, I
you have
have
that?
it. Yeah,
Oh,
I didn't it was another one of those games I played for 15 minutes and have never played it again, but yeah, it could
it
go on
looks
there.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
see it from here. Yep, I still have it.
Yeah, they did a ton of games, and this game released in 1998, which is
Yep.
maybe their best year. Iggy's Wrecking Balls, Forsaken, Turok 2, All-Star Baseball, NBA Jam 99. And then and then I didn't you probably knew this, but I was looking up the canceled Game Boy Color South Park game. That game looked really, really good for Game Boy Color. I mean, like, graphically looked really, really good, and it's too bad that uh, they never released it. Is Kevin getting something right now? I thought you were getting some. Oh,
Original box. And one of the best shaped boxes I actually have is my Armorines. Paid $8 for it.
I thought you had something else.
That's in good shape for $8.
Yeah, I mean, I've been collecting this stuff since before the prices went crazy. Like, I started collecting this stuff in, like, 2005, I think, 2006, so there were some overpriced games back then, but now everything's overpriced.
Oh, so this South Park game was kinda like,
It
Donkey Kong '94.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they took the engine and they used it for some Mary Kate and Ashley game on Game Boy Color, but it looked really good. Matt and Trey didn't want it on Game Boy because they thought it would attract an audience that wasn't related to their television audience. That's fair. But
Black and white manual. Nope, no good.
but I watched South Park and I played Game Boy, so I don't know. Like, I was a kid watching South Park at that time. Um,
Well, yeah, they weren't happy with those Nintendo 64 South Park games, so I think they just were like,
nope.
"Alright, we'll try this again
Yeah,
later down the line."
yeah, exactly. Uh, so Yeah, and 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 we
I kinda
know.
have a soft spot for the first person shooter one. I don't remember if it's just called South Park or what, but, I that was one that I rented a lot,
That's
and,
the
like,
one
I
where you
would
throw snowballs.
yes, and I remember I would always turn the all weapons and infinite ammo cheats on just because I wanted to get through the game, and it's the South Park game was not something I wanted to struggle with. Remember cheat codes, kids? I miss them.
So,
But that was the only news story I had was, Forsaken 64, which we got off on a tangent there, but,
well,
the
let's talk about the insanity of this week.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
So we're
good
recording this
time to be
on.
Team Cherry.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to um Nintendo Maniacs. Used to be Nintenvania. He's from Adelaide, Australia. He's been on the show before. I've been on his show also. And Adelaide, Australia is where the three developer team of Hollow Knight and Hollow Knight Silksong come from. And what an insane, easily the most insane indie release I've seen. And maybe the craziest release of a game I've seen in a really, really long time. Um, it
The only comparison I've seen that I guess I sorta got, even though it wasn't an indie game, was the release of Elden Ring. Like, that seems like the only other time everyone who could get it was playing the same game.
Yep.
I know this is bigger because it's literally on every platform, and they've crashed every single digital
hmm,
storefront. So,
Um,
which,
yeah,
seriously, kudos to you
why don't
guys
they
for
make the whole
crashing.
storefront out of the black box?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There you go.
Bigger in a different sense, but yeah, it crashed the whole Steam storefront, and shot up to the number 9 all-time concurrent spot on Steam, like in the all-time records. Over 500,000 were playing it within the first 2 hours of the game's release. It would have been the first hour, I'm sure, if like, because there was a lot of people who couldn't eat. I didn't even try. I didn't even bother. I was just watching it all go down. But yeah, I'm sure it would have been over 500,000 in the first hour if people could actually get on it. And that was a Thursday morning in America. It was late Thursday night in Australia. It was late Thursday where I was. So it wasn't like the most convenient time necessarily. And you can see that considering that I haven't seen the concurrent go down below like 375 since it's released, and that's just on Steam. There was issues with the Nintendo eShop reported, there was issues with the PlayStation whatever shop, whatever that's called, reported. And I'll just give my quick I've only gotten into about a couple hours, so I'll do
Okay.
a bigger review later, and it's basically what I thought it was gonna be. So, it's crazy to see how, especially an indie game before release can just be assumed it's gonna be game of the year, and it just delivers on all of those levels. It is $20. In my region for Steam, I picked it up for about $12. I'm pretty sure I'll pick it up on Switch just to support them later down the road. But I'm pretty sure if they would have raised it to $30, everyone would have still bought it at the exact
Oh,
same
yeah.
time. So it's pretty, and their response, Team Cherry, their response was just that they're really enjoying making the game. And well, if you just take the 500,000 concurrent, just those people, that's $10 million right there.
Yep.
Like, and that's just the one part of it. So, um, could you imagine being a game developer when your game releases and just hitting that refresh screen, just hitting refresh all that time and being like, "How much money now? How much money now?" Uh,
Hmm.
it's gotta be a a feeling that you can't really compare to or describe. So, yeah. So
There's a great interview with Tony Hawk. I don't know if you've ever seen this. It went viral like the week it came out, where he's describing when the Tony Hawk games came out, and obviously those weren't expected to be the huge sellers they were, and like he talks about when he got the first check, the first royalty check, and the guy was like, "So it sold a little better than we thought it was going to," and he's like, I don't know, he just describes like how huge the check was, and it's kind of a funny. It's kind of what you were describing.
yeah.
So Harrison, question, because as much as I hate to admit it, I never beat Hollow Knight. I got it on sale, played very little of it. Is this one different enough for me to give it another go? Or if I didn't really get into that, is it kind of not worth me bothering?
I would just say, I mean, I think if you have Hollow Knight, you should just play that one and then decide if you want to play the new one. Um, because I think the first game is so good that like if you really enjoy the first game, you're gonna enjoy Silksong. But it's gotta be a game that I think you're into because and it
Okay. I was just
this seems
curious
like a
because, like I
game you'd
said,
be
that was
into.
one of those.
Yeah, because
It's on the eShop on sale. Everyone was talking about it. All right, let me try it, and I didn't get very far in it. So,
yeah, and that's fine. It was a game that I had bought and then it took me a while to get into. And I've said on here that I'm not like the biggest Silksong fan, like biggest Hollow Knight fan in comparison because I've never reached the true ending. I've only really beaten the game one time, and it's really hard for me. Like this is not a game I would ever play like on stream or like on YouTube because um like I do get frustrated with it. It's that classic Souls like ugh. All right, let's go. Let's go back. Let's go back.
do you need to beat the boss gauntlet to get the true ending?
I think so.
Boss gauntlets. That was
Yeah.
something I texted Sean this week where I was like, "Why are there boss gauntlets in every game now?" Because spoiler, there's one in Donkey Kong Bonanza and there's one in Kirby and the Forgotten Land. That's another thing they have in common.
Ye-
And I feel like something else I played recently had one. Can't remember, but I'm just like, I'm so sick
Though
of these boss gauntlets. It's not even that they're challenging for me, it's that like obviously they're a time commitment because it's not something where I can, just be like, "Okay, I only have 20 minutes to play, and I have to do this boss gauntlet."
I
Yeah, yeah, you gotta clear some
I
time out.
if you get time, look up the Hollow Knight one. It's crazy.
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, and I forget how you exactly do it. I've watched people do it because yeah, like there's just certain times it was like getting to the end of Cuphead and then realizing there's a whole other difficulty level that you unlock and then being like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
"Nah, bro, I'm actually good on
See,
that."
Oh, you know
that's
what it
what's
was?
funny to
It's that I've been
me.
playing the Mega Man series, and the Mega Man series always makes you refight the robot masters at the end. That's what I was thinking of. Sorry.
It's similar to that. That's what's
Mm,
funny to me, where it's like Silk Song's this huge thing, and it's awesome for the developer, but I feel weird that I'm not like on board with it at the moment. But like Cuphead, I really like, and I mean, they're not completely the same, but they're very similar. So it's just odd that Hollow Knight didn't click with me, but Cuphead did.
Yeah. Just I encourage you to take your time with it. It's also a Metroidvania, so the part that really like connected me with Hollow Knight is that like the mechanics in it work so well. Like there's clearly parts to the map that like you can't get to, but clearly, like, you can just backtrack at a very natural point after you've unlocked another skill that and then you can get to that part of the map. So, it definitely for me, it took
I
time to get into,
almost Yeah, okay, because I'm
but
almost wondering, because I enjoyed Dread.
yeah,
I mean, I know that's a full-blown Metroid game, but it's not like I don't have any enjoyment for the genre.
yeah.
So, yeah, maybe I'll give it another shot.
Yeah, I would 100% say that Hollow Knight is just like if you have that, play it because that'll tell you if you want to play the next one, and the next one's $20, and the most it's going to be is $20, and the Switch 2 upgrade is well, it's not really an upgrade, and it's also free. So, uh,
Yeah.
s-
And I'm sure much like because Hollow Knight, they did 3 free DLCs, I
oh
think?
yeah,
That
yeah,
sounds
yeah,
right in my head. I'm
yes,
sure Silksong, they'll do something similar. I'm sure they've got a bunch of stuff to continue to support it, and
it's crazy.
again, I mean, for 3 guys to accomplish this is amazing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
seriously, kudos to the team there.
three people totally crash multiple platforms, and yeah, I'm pretty sure at this point it's been an interesting year. It's between this and Expedition 33 for Game of the Year. I'm pretty sure it's got to be, and if this wins, I I think it's going to cause even more of a trickle down effect with what we are seeing with gaming right now, because like games like Schedule One came out this year. It was a sole developer debut game. No one knew about it, and it sold millions and millions of copies. I think more and more people are paying attention to what's going on. Eric Barone,
Do you think
yeah, what's
that
up?
Silksong's going to possibly boost Hades 2, like, sales possibly too, where people are like, "Oh, hey, that's another indie game people were always raving about, and here's the second one."
Yep, I think so. I think that's it all connects somehow, and yeah, Super Giant Games is I would consider that to be pretty much a like a double A studio at this point. Uh, they're 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 growing a lot. Hades 2 is going to do well no matter what. Um, it was one of the best indies on the Switch, and it's gonna be a Switch exclusive. I'm sure whenever it comes out, people are just gonna be ready to dive into a new game on the Switch too, I think. So yeah, I think it does amplify that success. But yeah,
Okay.
Eric Barone, Concerned Ape, got
Yep.
a voice credit on this game, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
Um, Uh, and I brought that up as a transition because Eric Barone confirmed that a Stardew 1.7 update will be coming at some point. He's touring right now.
Can't help himself.
He's doing the second round of his concert series, and he announced that, but there's nothing specific like when it would come out. He's of course developing this alongside Hana Chocolatier, but I don't blame him. I mean, 1.6 revitalized the game completely. It smashed their concurrent Steam record by over 50,000. It caused 184% increase on PlayStation when the 1.6 update came out. It really just like gave people new and old another reason to get into this game or get back into this game. So he said that he's still enjoying it. I mean, I'm sure the fact that this game has grossed over 300 million helps with the enjoyment of this game as well. But
Stardew Valley is the perfect example of that expression, "Art is never finished, it's just released," because this
Yep.
guy is just constantly updating and updating and updating, like, that's his he's like, "It's not done yet. It's not done yet."
yeah, well, and I've talked on here before. It's impossible to imagine how you would feel if you were to reach that level of success and wealth, because he's already reached that generational level. So
Mhm.
I mean, at any point he could say, I'm just leaving forever. But he's also developing a new game which will come out whenever it's done. And yeah, it's just been a total gift to the community. I've never seen a community back a creator so much and just say, take your time, don't rush it. We'll play it when it comes out.
'Cause half of
And
them still haven't finished the last update yet.
well,
They're like, "I'm not there yet."
this this past week, that it's been like raining and stuff here. It's been really nice for it. I've been playing through the vanilla 1.6 updates on Switch finally, and I'm like just getting finished with those. And yeah, they just announced that more of it is coming out. So if we're highlighting Hollow Knight this week. We're highlighting sole developers. Of course, Harrison plays games. Yeah, I took my own video. On here.
Little
Uh,
cross promotion there. If anyone's
Plug.
wondering, I still haven't met everyone in town. I don't know if I'll ever
oh,
go back to that game.
you know what? As someone who has played hundreds of hours of it, I'm extremely antisocial in that game.
"Stay away from my wife."
It's usually talk to everyone because I hope Haunted Chocolatier expands on it, makes it a little bit more consequential because the relationship system in Stardew is not something that I enjoy at all. It's basically what I do: greet everybody one time, don't talk to them for 2 years, then hand everyone salads until you get ten hearts, which is not the way you make friends at all. Like "Hey, buddy, here you
I
go."
mean, have you tried it? In reality, it might work.
Giving people salads would probably work,
Yeah.
in real
That's the
life.
salad guy.
Yeah.
Lives up at the crazy farm there.
So, e
Um,
s
Harrison, have you ever seen I'm trying to think of their name, I'm Googling it right now, but there's a YouTuber on YouTube. There's a YouTuber whose
No.
content he makes a lot of Stardew Valley videos, dangerously funny, that's it. Have you
Mhm.
seen that guy?
Oh,
His
oh, yeah. I've seen
his content's so funny. He's married everyone in the town, and I mean, these are all from years and years ago,
I'm
but,
doing a
like,
video on this. Uh
he's used mods to marry every single person in the town, and, like, it's a full story, like, he'll have the kids with them, he'll divorce them, he goes through, like, the whole thing. Um, so, like, it's I don't know, his channel is hilarious,
Yeah,
so shout out to him.
I did that video on my channel. I haven't released it yet, but
Okay.
I did that video on my channel because there's it used to be called the More Love mod, but 1.6, I think it's called, like, Polyamory Suite, I think,
Hmm.
where you can expand the size of your bed and you can marry everyone. There's even options for, like, you can have your own spouses, like, kiss each other, and then it gets into, like, the other stuff also, but, um, yeah, I made a video where I married everyone in town, men and women, just got everyone in the house together. Dangerously funny, yeah, I've seen so many of his videos, mostly like Stardew or Forager. His thing is that, like, he just takes mods and just takes it to the absolute extreme. Like, he found out uh the lowest level you can get to in the desert, whatever it's called. The desert mine. You see,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't even think of the name right now.
We know what you mean.
The desert mine. That's what I'm gonna call it. I can't even think of
Yeah,
it now. Favorite game, can't think of it. So you said there's no other news. Can we talk about some 2D games?
sure.
That's my other segment for today. And
Do it.
that's my transition. So I've been wanting
Love
to talk about 2D games since the Switch 2 came out because I wanted
I
to
think
hear.
first 'cause I did just read the note you put in about this. I think first you need to define, what you're talking about by a 2D game. Are you specifically talking about side scrollers or would like a top 'cause I don't understand when people call a top-down Zelda a 2D Zelda. I call those top-down Zeldas. Is that included?
I wanted to talk about both. So
Okay,
thank you
perfect.
for the differentiation. So when I think 2D, I do think side scroller.
Mhm.
But but I wanted to include like games like the idea of Echoes of Wisdom. So I don't.
Well, for that too, I would say like Pokemon. And I know you and I disagree on this, but I've said on this podcast a few times I preferred when it was the top down, like the old school style to it. So
All right,
that's one that I like.
all right, so we're gonna include kind of all of it, and listeners in your mind, just imagine what you think 2D is. Now because I do want to include games that might be um more lower budget and then might have
Mhm.
lower development times in comparison to a game like Echoes of Wisdom, which you might put out in between the other 3D Zelda games, whether that's Tears of the Kingdom or Age of Imprisonment or whatever that might be. So that's one, development times, development costs. There's really no limit for what consumers will take as far as graphic and art style goes now. I mean, we play Stardew, we play pixel games, we play 2D, 2.5, 3D. And yeah, speaking of that also, there's a pretty good chance that a 2D game, Silksong wins Game of the Year this year. So, the popularity for it is there. So franchises I wrote down, of course we have Mario, including Mario Maker. We have Metroid. Although like Metroid Dread is kind of a it's kind of different when it comes to like a 2D. That's a very triple
Mhm.
A type game. Of course, we have Kirby. Um, Donkey Kong most recently is Tropical Freeze, right? And then, of course, you have Zelda, Link Between World, Link Awakening, remake, Echoes of Wisdom, on and on and on. So many other ones as well. And then the main reason why I wanted to do this segment is because I've been playing this indie game called Norp Apolog on my Steam Deck, and it's this idle, not it's not actually not idle, it's incremental um management type game where it's like 8-bit style, 2D, and you're basically managing these little ball type creatures called Norps. And the goal is there's a rock and you have to break the rock before you can leave the planet. That's it. That's basically all you're doing. There's a rock, you break the rock, and then you leave the planet. And it made me think the entire time about Pikmin because it's just like very related to it. Like you have these little creatures and you tell them what to do. And if you don't use the right strategy, then it's just not gonna work the way you need it to. Uh, Pokemon you mentioned. Um, Pokemon, yes, I mean, I think the top down is better, but I think most importantly, if they develop a 2D Pokemon game, they have to develop it alongside 3D as well because it can't be, oh, we're just bad at 3D, so we're not gonna do it. Of course.
Yeah.
Um,
I also I just like I prefer the designs of the Pokemon in that art style as well and
totally
stuff. I
fair.
don't know. I think it's just, I think I'm just, nostalgic for it though.
Totally fair. I mean, hey, me too. And I would play all of them. I would play any of them that were good games, and I guess also the bad
Mhm.
ones. So yeah, I'm a Pokemon fan. Um, but yeah, that's the whole thing. It's like if they're gonna make more 2D games, it has to be people are gonna play it and not, oh, we're just not good at the other ones. Uh,
I
and
put Nexomon on my wish list as you recommended for
Mhm.
that exact
Al
reason.
always on sale.
Mhm.
Animal Crossing could be an interesting 2D spinoff. Uh, There's plenty of comparisons we can make to other 2D cozy games.
Mhm.
Stardew Valley included. Star Fox, uh, Splatoon could be interesting. They're also developing a spin-off
Oh yeah,
single player game,
whatever that is.
right?
Yep.
Whenever that will come out. And Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem is kind of 2D adjacent, I think. I've never played it before. So there's a lot of other speculation. So I have four questions for you. Kevin, I'll start with you. Um, do you think 2D games fit the identity of Nintendo more than other companies?
Uh, Probably depends on the company, but definitely if you're talking about between Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation, yeah, I feel like Xbox and PlayStation try to market more like, "Look how photorealistic we can be." Nintendo is more, "Look how fun this game can be." So, I feel like, yeah, that's kind of a key difference to me.
Sean, what do you think?
I mean, I kind of associate 2D with multiple companies, but I think it's just because of the generation I grew up in. Because
Mhm.
Nintendo and Sega,
Capcom.
Capcom,
Yeah.
Konami, like I related to all of those, and like I've said on the podcast in the past, like 2D beat 'em ups and 2D fighters or something that I kind of got back into through Switch, which
Mhm.
is you know kind of my preferred way to play those types of games as opposed to 3D.
Mhm.
Right. Right, and we haven't brought up the whole, handheld thing also that, the Switch and Switch 2 are also handheld, so, it might help with that identity also. How about price point? Sean, I'll go to you. Sean, do you think, if Nintendo were to develop some 2D games, do you think a $60 price point would be fair? Depends on
I
the
mean, I
game.
paid that for Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, so I think if it's something I wanna play,
Yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. Or possibly $70. But I guess a game like
Yeah.
Metroid Dread, I guess you would pay, like, $70 for that.
Well,
Yeah,
It
so
depends on the
Metroid
popularity of the
Dread,
franchise, yeah.
yeah.
yeah, it's that, but Dread had a demo, and I'm always saying demos sell games, so playing the demo of that made me go, "Oh, yeah, this is worth the price point," so
Right. Right. Yeah, absolutely. More demos for sure. Either of you, is there a Nintendo franchise that you'd like to see get a 2D game or a 2D revival?
Yeah, I think a 2D, Luigi's Mansion would be amazing. You could even weave it into the story, kinda copy the maybe it's a hybrid 3D, 2D game where, like, what was the name, of the game? The Zelda game where you went into the wall,
Link Between Worlds?
Link Between Worlds,
Worlds,
thank
yeah.
you. The you can make it like that where Luigi is, like, going into paintings or something like that, and, like, then you have, like, a side scrolly level there, but you have a 3D hub world, something like that. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but I think a 3D Luigi's Mansion would be awesome. A
Uh,
2D.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And that's another example of a series that, well, it's successful, but
Mhm.
could completely, like, offer their audience something different, as well as, maybe attract others at the same time into the franchise.
And then he would, have more comparisons with Kirby because it would be 2 side scrolly, 2D games where you're vacuuming up enemies.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's true.
Well, I would go
I
Pikmin.
know that they
Sean, how about you?
had a yeah, Pikmin. I'd go I know they had a 3DS game where I
Yeah,
think you were Olimar I don't know, it might have been a
I haven't played
platformer,
it, but yeah.
but I think if you did a 2D Pikmin, but in the style of, like, the old Lemmings games, that could be
Ooh.
fun
Mhm, I like that.
Yeah.
because you already get the the groundwork there that each color Pikmin does something different.
Mhm.
So just, bring your Nintendo magic to level design and puzzles, and I think that could be really good.
Yeah.
Man, I miss
Uh,
those. I haven't thought about the Lemmings games in forever, but now I
yeah.
wanna play one.
Yeah, that would be cool. My last question for you guys, and then we can get into the spotlight game. All right. Which franchise would have a better shot as a comeback success as a 2D game? Donkey Kong
Mm.
or Star Fox?
I think Donkey Kong would have more success, but I'd be more interested in Star Fox personally. I know Sean's a bigger Donkey Kong guy, but I would I would if they came out the same day, I would buy the Star Fox one first.
See, I'm very intrigued by the Star Fox thing, but it's been 11 years since I've had a Donkey Kong Country game. So
There's a really good, Star Fox-like game on my boy, the Virtual Boy, that I like to bring up every opportunity called, Vertical Force, and it's a
oh
top-down
yeah.
one,
Yep.
like, they play with the 3D with you being, like, higher or lower, to fly over objects, but
I
it's
remember that
essentially
game.
2D, even though it's on the 3D system.
Uh, where are you leaning, Sean? Like after Bonanza, are you leaning more towards that it could be more possible
The
that there's going to be a 2D Donkey Kong or less?
Bonanza very much so made it clear it was not a Donkey Kong Country,
Mm,
so it
mm.
kinda still made me miss that, so I'd be perfectly okay with a new one of those where, 1, you actually get to play as Donkey Kong again, but, I think if you added some of this new s new enemy types and things that they threw in there, I think that could be very interesting. Maybe bring the Void Tech guys back as bad guys, and I think there's
Get 'em out of
something
the
there.
country. Let's have Donkey Kong City.
Donkey Kong Abroad.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, I mean, I'm convinced now more than ever that it could happen, that we could see a 2D Donkey Kong. We got 2D
Mhm.
Mario after a 3D Mario game, and
Wonder
then
sold really well, so it shows that, people are still interested.
yeah, so we got our Donkey Kong Odyssey game. I think
Mhm,
I'm just I'd lean more on in this generation, I think we will see it, then we will not see it. So
mhm.
I'll just give my predictions there.
I also think we will see on the Switch 2 another 2D Metroid as well because Dread was so even if it didn't sell a crazy amount of copies, it was very well reviewed, very highly regarded, and I'm sure it
Yeah.
sold what Nintendo wanted it to.
For a Metroid title, which I
Mhm,
think was the best Metroid title ever as far as sales go, I think it sold pretty well.
yeah.
I think it sold more. I don't know if it sold more than what they expected, but I think it sold pretty well. And and was a launch title for the Switch OLED, which we
They're running out of
yeah,
places to go with the story, though. I think we're also, if I'm going to make more predictions on this podcast, I think we're going to see a Metroid reboot at some point, like a new start, like a start over or something, because they're really running out of room in that story, especially because they put the Prime games in between Metroid and Metroid 2. So I think at the end of that timeline where Dread is, they have kind of a definitive endpoint there. So yeah.
right, right, right. Well, cool. Yeah, I've been wanting to talk about 2D on here for a long time, and yeah, there's no limits. So I hope that we see a lot more 2D games in this generation. We are
Mhm.
at we're at 1 hour. Let's do some spotlight. Where's that?
Yeah. So the
Nope.
spotlight game for this week is a Nintendo classic from the original NES, came out in April of 1989, a game that I played as a kid called Adventures of Lolo. This this game, like I said, I played it as a kid. I like it. it's a real hidden gem, you know. It's a hidden gem on the NES. Most people haven't played it, I'd say. It's from HAL Laboratory, the same people who would later create Kirby. This is pre-Kirby, a very Kirby-looking character pre-Kirby. Before the pink puffball was sucking up enemies, Hal was testing our brains with this little blue guy named Lolo. The setup is simple. Lolo is on a quest to rescue Princess Lala from the Great Devil. That's the villain's name. To do it, you've got to clear a series of single screen puzzle rooms by collecting all the hearts and opening the chest and finding the exit. So it's easy enough until you realize that these puzzles are absolutely brutal on some of the stages. They're just real Professor Layton type type of brain teasers. Um what I
They
love is
are.
that the game doesn't demand lightning quick reflexes. It's really all about puzzle solving. So, if you're the kind of player who enjoys, you know, pushing blocks around in a Zelda dungeon, this is basically a whole adventure built around that type of thing. Lolo, it still has a devoted fan base decades later. There's 3 of them on the original NES, and I keep wondering why only the first one is on the service because it's a Nintendo property. It doesn't seem like they would have any problem with licensing. Where's the second and third game, guys?
The same reason why they weren't originally released in America. And
But they were on the virtual console when they had the Wii, so
yeah,
we've gotten them.
yeah. And the reception for the virtual console was very good when they came out because I didn't see like any initial reviews, uh, like
Mhm,
going all the way back to NES. But in 2007, it had a really good reception. I don't know if Virtual Console was just kind of a newer thing and people were just really needing a game to play at the time. It
mhm.
released on Virtual Console the same time as Galaga 90 and Wave Race 64. And remind me,
I think it's
guys.
the perfect type of game for that service too, though. Like you got your little side-scrolling Wiimote for your NES
Yep.
controller,
Sure.
and you can just save state at each level, each different level where you left off, and pick up right where you were. It's like the perfect game for that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was 100 points a dollar? Do you
It
remember?
Yes.
was.
Okay, I thought so. I thought it was that. So it was five. Then it was $5 on Virtual Console when it released.
Mhm.
And people were saying that it was a great value because it's a game that you would come back to, that you would replay. It has 50 levels. So yeah, I was very impressed with it as a game I hadn't played before in the past, and I find it funny that it's kind of the second week in a row. Last week we did Densetsu, which seems like a game that was never pursued because perhaps of Kirby. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah,
But how Laboratories, of course, has a direct connection
I didn't
to
even think of that.
Kirby. So it feels like the second week in a row where they're like, "Oh, we could have easily had this game as well," but there was a focus around, I guess, the little pink ball guy. Yeah, Zelda. This game reminded me of Seafoam Island in Pokemon Red and Blue Yellow, where you have to move the stones around, and if you move it around the
Mhm,
wrong way, you'll get stuck, or you have to just go back, reset the level you're at. Were there any
mhm.
other games that this reminded you of?
I
Sean?
always get this confused with Clue Land. I don't know why,
Oh,
like just the titles, but uh
yeah.
what uh Boulder Dash. It reminds me of that.
Okay.
That was kind of the same type of thing. You had to push stuff around, but
Mm,
I thought this was refreshing because there's no time limit. There's no
Mhm.
like stuff on top of you, like ready to kill you all the time. Like, I don't know, it was just kind of a nice, relaxing game that required some actual brain function. So I enjoyed that about it, and I kind of agree. Why don't you just release 2 and 3 also? It's
It's
I'd
something
be
I've been
curious to
waiting
see
for
how it
because I like
evolves.
this game so much. Like I never really I'll admit, I never really got into the second or third game, but like the fact that I've been aware of this game for a while, um, when it got added to the service, I've been keeping an eye out for them and it's been a long I can get the exact day because I have it in our spreadsheet that this was added to the service and yeah, ever since then, I've been waiting, and so far nothing. Here we go. NSO. This was added in December of 2018 to the service, so long time ago.
They just forgot.
Switch
Yeah.
one days.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, definitely recommend if anyone's looking for like the type of game where you can just play it in little chunks and use your save states. This is the perfect
Yeah.
type of game for that.
Oh yeah. No, I didn't say we've done a lot of puzzle games at this point.
Well, the NES had a limited capabilities, and this was something it did well.
Yeah, yeah, I was most impressed by that, because it feels like a Game Boy game, which had similar
Mm.
power, just was a game that, it had the liberty of being released later and, you know, a lot of other games came before that. So, I was impressed by this as a game that I didn't really know about. I knew that, it was on the service, never played before, but definitely stands out for the puzzle games that we have played. And yeah. Was there a Super Nintendo Lolo game? Seems like there's a lot
I'm looking at
a
the
lot of them.
series right now because I was wondering if there was a Game Boy game, but I don't think so. I think it's just the and I was wrong, there's not 3 of them, there's only 2, so even more reason of, like, why don't we have the second one? Um, I thought there was a 3rd one. Is there a Game Boy game? I can't find it. I think there's only the 2 NES games, though. Hmm,
They just yeah. They must have just
interesting.
forgot on the service. So it was a big surprise to me. I really digged it. I don't think I'm done with it because I might want to try to get to the end of all of these. So that's
I did
that's
that
a good
way back on my Wii,
that's a good feeling
back
too.
Oh,
in my
man.
Wii days.
Uh,
Oh, there is a Game Boy. It looks like let me see if this is official or if it's like a fan-made thing. Um, developed by HAL Laboratory. Nope, they got a Game Boy, version in 1994.
Okay.
Did the
So
so
it's
second
technically
one?
3.
so
Nope, the second one did not make it to Game Boy. So, yeah, there's 3 games, one of them being the Game Boy version of the original.
Okay.
Kevin, what do you rank and who do you recommend it to?
Well, I ranked this at number 55 on my list, which puts it let me see, puts it right below Shadow of the Ninja and puts it right above Columns on the Sega Genesis. And, I would, like I said, recommend it to anyone who's looking for a puzzle game that they can, just pick up and play and come back to a week later if they haven't been playing it and, there's not a lot of rules to remember in this game. So, it's a good game to just come back to and, like, it's a slow burn. You don't have to beat this game in a week. You can just keep chipping away at it over time. So if you're looking for a game like that you can play in the background while you have like a main game you're playing, this is a good one for that.
I agree completely, and I put it pretty high at 28. So
Ooh,
it definitely ranks high for puzzle games. I ranked it high because it's a game that I think I will return to. Um, and I think offers a lot. So I have nothing else to
I have
add.
to say too, it controls really well. A lot of times the rub on a game like this is that, like, you'll get it and you'll be like, "Oh, they had such a good idea, but, like, they didn't know how to program a video game yet." You know what I mean? Like, and this one is not that. It controls just as well as, like, the Legend of Zelda.
Right. Like this is a level of what I would expect to see on a Game Boy or on a Super Nintendo. For
Mhm.
sure. For sure.
Very competently made.
Like taking the limitations and doing as much as they can with it. So yeah, Sean,
Mhm.
Yeah.
how about you?
So I enjoyed it, but I ranked it at 92 because I'm just having trouble placing some of this stuff now. We played so many games.
Yeah,
Uh
I'm at that point too where I'll look at my list and I'll be like, "Well, it's definitely below that game," and I'm like, "But it's above that one and it doesn't work." Like, so yeah.
yeah, so I enjoyed it and I'd probably go back to it. I'd like to see the sequel and even the Game Boy one because maybe it's different. Sometimes
Mhm.
there's enough difference in versions, but yeah, I don't know. I think the service overall has a pretty strong puzzle game like
Mhm.
library
Yeah,
overall.
I, I think so. I think on like the SNES just alone, it's pretty strong. And the night at this point, like a game maybe like in the 90s for us could still be a decent game at this point because
Well, yeah, it's,
it's yeah.
it's like so many.
All right, let us see what we'll be playing next week. Okay, so this is another situation where we're playing catch up here from a game where we this is a trilogy, but we've already done one of the games because it was before we were pairing them. So
Oh,
if you guys remember Rival Turf, that was a game that we've covered already. Apparently, there are 2 games on the series on the service that are in the same series, and those are Brawl Brothers and the Peacekeepers are both all those 3 games are part of that trilogy. So we're gonna do Brawl Brothers and Peacekeepers for Super Nintendo next week to round out the Rival Turf trilogy.
ooh, that's a rough pair of games there. But
Well, once we're done with them, we don't have to look at them ever again.
I guess
Um,
there's no Kirby beat 'em up to compare it to though. So
yeah. So yeah, that trilogy will be closed. If you have any thoughts on that trilogy, if you even knew it was a trilogy, because there's nothing in those titles that tells you that those games are related.
they're
Um,
clearly connected. I don't
yeah.
see how you don't get that, but
Let us know below how you found out this trilogy existed. You can leave comments on Spotify now. I haven't said that in a while, but now since Spotify started uploading the video version of our podcast, it's pretty much just like YouTube. You can comment right down below. So comment down below on Spotify, comment down below on YouTube. Let us know. Let us know if you're excited for Silksong too. Anything we talked about this week, just comment it down below. And thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you very much for telling your friends about this podcast. It really helps. We will see you next time for those Peacekeeper trilogy. The trilogy's got to have a name. I'll find it out for next week. But whatever that trilogy is, we'll see you next week for it, and we'll know more about what we're talking about. See you then.